Sivuyile, take one.
Hi, my name is Sivu, and I've had a little bit of imposter syndrome to actually say this for quite a while, but I think I'm ready now to say that I am a multi-genre artist from Cape Town. And at the moment, I am sort of committing myself to my art and my music, and that's who I am.
So tell us a little bit about the imposter syndrome that's been creeping around.
Yeah, I think it's hard to sort of follow a path that doesn't have sort of those checkpoints that everybody looks for. You know, you have to go to school, and then after school you go to university, and after university you get a job, and then all those other things. And you're sort of measured according to how many of those you tick, right? And the path of the artist is sort of very wonky for the most part, you know. You sort of achieve, and not most of the time, you sort of achieve what it is that you put in. And I gave it a whirl, and it didn't really pan out the way that I wanted it to for a while. And it sort of, I won't lie, it sort of broke me for a while, you know. I ended up sort of pivoting into marketing and working in the tourism industry for a while, and trying to do the whole sort of 9-to-5 corporate thing. And sort of getting back into it now again, it's tough because I don't really feel at home yet. You know, it's like I know that my soul sort of like speaks this language, but you know, it's like me with German, right? It's like I understand what you're saying, but I don't really know how to communicate with you effectively yet. And that's how I feel with music. But I'm sort of like dedicating myself to doing it, and really just investing myself into it, and just like not being scared anymore, because I think I was scared for a while, and I sort of am a little bit, but I've located a bit more. What do you call this? I've located a bit more bravery. You know, the fear is sort of like in the back burner now, and there's more bravery in the forefront, so it feels good.
What sort of changed recently that's put on this?
I wasn't happy.
Sound?
I wasn't happy. I didn't like my life. I didn't like myself. And then also just that envy that you feel when you watch people do what it is that you think that you're supposed to be doing, or you feel that you're supposed to be doing. And I don't think it's more so about the glory of sort of, you know, becoming a recording artist and all that other stuff. It's just, I wake up in the morning and I want to write music. I wake up in the morning and I want to sing. I wake up in the morning and I want to watch other artists just like do their thing. You know, that's all I do. I listen to interviews, I watch other artists, I listen to a whole lot of music. And it just, that's what my body is. That's who I am. I just want to engage with art. I want to create art. I want to collaborate. And I just want to live within that universe, you know? And for the past sort of couple of years, I've just sort of been getting those taps in the back, like, oh yeah, you've just got a promotion over here, and oh yeah, the client said it's a go over here, and like, oh no, I'm going to make a great commission this month. But it's like, it doesn't really bring me joy, you know? So yeah, I think I needed to sort of pivot and come back towards myself, and that's what I'm doing right now.
So in 5 years' time, where do we see you? Or where do you see you?
To be honest, I just want to be in the room, you know? I just want to be able to have a Rick Rubin-esque life, you know, just walk around barefoot, you know, and just interact with artists all the time, you know, just make music. And from like a very good place, right? You know, you've got to make money, you've got to make a living, but I just want to dedicate myself to collaboration and just making music. I don't know how else to put it. It's just, that's the only thing that rings true in my brain and in my heart for the most part all the time.
So Sivu, what kind of energy do you naturally bring into a room?
That's a good question. I would say I don't know. I've got like a word which is like giggles. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say. Like I'm a very like giggly person. I try to sort of, not in like the people pleasing sort of way, but I try to sort of tap into the energy that's in the room, that's existing in there already. I'm the type of guy that sees the homie in the corner not having a good time and is like, are you all right, bro? Like, do you need anything? You know what I mean? So I think it's just comfort. You know, I come from a family where my mom and my granny are just such welcoming people. You know, there's people walking in and out the house all the time. So I think I bring that type of energy to the room, just community wherever you are, just making everybody feel at home, I guess.
What shifts your energy quickly?
Negative energy. Negative energy. I used to sort of let things go a lot. I used to be very passive. And I think I don't have a tolerance for people who make other people feel uncomfortable. I don't like mean-spirited jokes either. I don't like any of that. So if you come into the room with any of that type of energy, you know, where someone sort of says something mean, they neg someone, or they say something nice, but it's not really nice. Or people generally, if you're in a room with someone and it's like, something has gone wrong, let's talk about it, you know? Let's be open about it, let's speak on it, and let's make sure that everybody in the room is comfortable. If you come in with that type of energy, yeah, I'm gonna say something. And I'm gonna try to be kind, but it's sometimes kindness versus sort of meanness doesn't usually work. So sometimes I don't think I want to be mean, but I think being stern. I've allowed myself to be walked over for a while. I've watched a lot of people get walked over for a while as well. And like you sort of go home after a situation with homies and you're just like running conversations back in your mind. You're just like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Or did she like me? Or whatever the case may be. And it's just, I don't like being in spaces where people don't feel like the very sort of most open and comfortable version of themselves. I think that's something that I always strive for when I am in a room for the most part.
And then what emotion do you struggle to express?
Anger and disappointment. Got sort of negative connotations to them. And I think there's a healthy way to sort of like deal with them. It's sort of, I call it alchemy, right? You take something that's possibly negative and you make something good from it. I've had a very tough time with sort of like negative feelings. I've always wanted to my own detriment, just consistently be the positive person in the room, but that's not necessarily healthy either, because then you carry so much with you. And then you're not an honest person either, which then sort of comes up in other parts of your relationships with people. And then you're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to the people that you have around you. You're not being true to your community. And those negative sort of feelings are ones that I have a very tough time, even now, just like saying, hey, I don't think that was cool. Or maybe even myself being defensive when someone says, hey, you did something, I don't think that was fine, you know. I'm still sort of configuring that and just being able to sort of like live within a negative space and allowing that to breathe, and then coming back with a more positive sort of outlook, for sure.
And then lastly, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned about yourself so far this year?
I would say it's that I'm capable, and I'm allowed to say that I'm good at something, you know? There's this sort of like thing that we sort of like, this box that we put ourselves into of this sort of like contrived humility, you know? You're not allowed to say that you're dope at this. You're not allowed to say, hey man, like I do this thing for sure. And like, I am who I am and this is what I do. You know, I've always sort of tried to make myself smaller, which hasn't sort of worked out for me. So I think this year particularly, I just decided that, hey, I'm capable, I'm worthy, I'm good at what I do. And I'm just going to live within that reality because that is my reality and that's what's true about me. And it's even saying it out loud now just like feels weird, like in my body, but I think it's good. I like it.